Three, two, one.
Yes.
Hello, hello, hello. I wonder if we are live. Are we? Are we? Are we? Let's see. 3, 2, 1. We are live. How exciting. Okie dokie, okie pokey. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Now, I better hit that record button because otherwise I'll be in so much trouble with certain people, certain individuals in the academy who will be like, yes, please record. Hello, my darlings. How are you, Black Swans? I know we've changed the time. It used to be 8:30, but that was because we had some Black Swan meetings going on beforehand, and we would literally have to rush from one meeting to do the live. But now that we have structured a few things differently, we're able to be here with you live. And guess who I have coming back from her sick bed? It's Yvonne.
And it's great to see each and every one of you. It's really strange when you want to be somewhere and you can't be there because of circumstances beyond your control.
Right.
And I'm pleased to say that I am well. My eye is healing really nicely. And for the time being, this is me with lipstick, nothing else. So you're seeing the real me until I can put my face on again. So welcome, everyone. Really great seeing you. And we've got a belter for you today.
Yes, we do indeed. And our unique, unfortunately, is poorly. So I don't know what's going on. I think that your Black Swan coaches need some loving. They need send them some prayers and some loving. She's like, oh, I feel so poorly. I'm off to bed. But if I know that girl, she's in her bed watching this live right now. Show yourself. Show yourself. So yes, we're gonna give her a break. Unique is very, very hardworking coach. She's always there, always there, and it's good for her to take a break and know that we totally love and look forward to having her back. Hopefully next week she can bring her sunshine to join, because the three of us always have the best banter ever. So today, while we work through everything, I know that you have seen the title, How to Unlock Love by Finding Yourself. Is that, or something like that? Well, how does it go? Let me see. We come up with these great titles. Unlocking Love, How Embracing a Fulfilling Life Leads to Finding Your Perfect Partner. And this is part of our Soulmate Attraction System series that we're doing with you ladies, because again, like I said last week, and we're going to be doing this for a few weeks. We were supposed to have a few guests on tonight, but we will get more swans who have done the soulmate system to come and share their stories with you. And I know you loved having Nanto with us last week. So next week, we should hopefully have the full cast. We should have Yvonne, Unique, and definitely one of the Black Swans will be on here, and possibly another. So it will be a full house. So today, really, we're talking about some of the components that we find in the module 2 of the whole Soulmate Attraction System course, and just some of the stories that we unpack in that process. Now, we discussed module 1 last week, where we really just set our intentions and really just focus our intentions on what we would like to achieve and who we would like to become, and how the system allows us to go above and beyond our intentions. On this module 2, part of the series, we talk about your fulfilling life. Now, it seemed a bit counterintuitive when I was creating this course, because I knew that on one hand, people would be like, listen, I've come here to figure out how I'm going to meet my soulmate. I have no idea why you want me to set goals on community or friendship or career or work or purpose. Like, why do I have to do this particular module? It seems so out of alignment. So Yvonne, why do you think this module, why do you think it was important for this module to be in the Soulmate Attraction System? I mean, we were trying to attract a man here. We're not trying to be or a woman if you're doing it for men. Why do we have to set goals for our lives? What's that about, in your opinion?
In my opinion, and I think the reason why we have got to set goals, because it's like with everything else, if you don't know where you're going, you won't know how you're going to get there. You're just going to get in your car and drive aimlessly with no particular intention in mind.
Right.
And the reason why we set goals is because we have a journey here on this earth that we're trying to get to and from. And each of us are navigating different journeys. It's like, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to go to medical school.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Or whatever your career is, you know, that you want to do, in order for you to do to be a doctor, there's no point in saying, but I love architecture. That's not the subject that you're going to want to study if you want to be a doctor. So whatever it is that you decide that you want to do or be in life, there is a pathway that you've got to follow in order for you to get there. And in that pathway, you're going to set goals. And if one of your goals is at the end of it, when, let's say I've done university, I might have done, if we're doing the lawyer thing, the doctor thing, you might have done a year's residency. By the time I've done that, then I'm going to be ready to find a partner. So what do? Do you put it to chance? If you don't know what you want, and the first pretty face or handsome face that turns up, and because she likes you and you like her, you think, great, that's it. But you don't know anything about her. What are you looking for in your person? In order for you to find that out, you would need to have gone through certain steps, and you would need to have dated other people to know, I don't like when this one does this. I don't like when that one does. I don't like, oh, that's good, that's bad. You know what it is you like from the experiences that you've had. So you can put them down and use that to navigate your way through finding ultimately what it is you want. So without that, anything that comes along and looks good, you'll take it.
Absolutely. I feel that such a great point in terms of, I think how we approach dating when is quite random. And I think this is how we've been taught to approach dating, to be fair. It was kind of like girl meets boy, boy meets girl, let's get it together. And, you know, it doesn't really, because life wasn't as complicated and as complex and as layered and as nuanced as it is now. Life was way simpler. Complex probably in our time at that time, but definitely now we kind of have carried on those practices of boy meet girl. And the random kind of way of dating, the kind of pick and mix, like, you know, take a bit of this and pick a bit of that, no longer works. Because like I was saying when I was on BBC Radio, when I was saying to them, look, we have ascended to now a level where we have to date energetically.
Yes.
Like the spirituality of dating is so important now, whereas it used to be secondary. It was all about the religion. Do we share religion? Do we have, you know, but when we're talking about the spirituality, we're talking about somebody on your energy frequency, somebody who's vibrating at the same frequency, somebody who is resonating with you, and that's very difficult if your life is either stagnant, still waters attract, what do they call, stagnant waters attract all manner of whatever. There's a saying for it, I've just forgotten it. And this whole idea that, for me, when I talk to my clients, especially about this module, and usually it's kind of like, why? We've just finished talking about the man I want. We've just finished talking about my core needs. We've just talked about what I gotta have, and I'm excited about that guy. I've created him. He makes sense. He's real. This guy I can meet, this guy I can love, this guy I can respect. Why are we talking about my goals now? And what we do when we're waiting for love is that we put our whole lives on hold. It's like, love, knock on my door, because I'm ready for you. So we put our whole lives on hold, not realizing that the guy element, the relationship element, is a slice of your life pie. And what happens is two things. Is if you just have that one pie, that one slice, you're going to look for satisfaction in your relationship. You're going to look for your partner to be your friend, your best friend ever in the whole wide world, and then to be your second friend and your third friend. And then you're going to look to your partner to be your hobby. Then you're going to look to your partner to be your everything. And that is the number one breaker, especially if you're a single woman that has been waiting for a while. You have all of this unlived life. You have all these untaken trips. You have all these unmet friends. You have all these undone things, and you're waiting to do them with one person. And that person walks into your life, and they have to be your everything. They have to be your community. They have to be your friend. They have to be your confidant. They have to be your family. They have to be your children. That person is burdened. And on top of that, meeting that person is going to be hard because your energy is going to come across thirsty.
Yes.
And there's nothing, when your energy is stagnant, I don't know who was saying this, but I'm going to paraphrase it. It's easier to steer a moving vehicle in the right direction than a parked vehicle. Yeah. You know, you take the key out of the ignition and you're trying to steer this thing. You need to be, even if you're going in the wrong direction, even if you are moving your life in the wrong direction, it's easier to steer it right. It's easier for somebody to join that party and steer that whole thing elsewhere than for somebody to find you stagnant. So basically, you know, I guess it comes back to realizing that, so I have a client, and I think I told you about this one. This was a long, long time ago. And you know what, which I'm going to tell you about. So I have this client, and she says, no, well, Chengi, look, I couldn't do module 2. I couldn't do it because I've reached every goal I ever set for myself. I have the house, I have the money, I've worked my butt off. I have everything. I have traveled to the places I've always wanted to go. And right now, there's only one thing missing in my life. One thing. So I don't even want to do this module. I don't even want to touch it because it's irrelevant to me, because I want one thing. What do you think was going on with that woman, Yvonne? What do you think was going on with her? What do you think is going on in that scenario? What do you think she's avoiding? What's your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
This is for somebody to have said, look, all the things that I wanted for myself, I've done. Because when you think about module 2 is not just there for you to look at it and say, education tick.
Yeah.
It's not just there for you to say, you know, you go in at the bottom and work your way up. So now you're the CEO, tick, that's it, I'm done. No, it wants to know what are those unfulfilled dreams that you had when you were growing up and you were, you know, in school with your classmates, and the teacher said, Jenny, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you might have said something and somebody laughed and you just sat down and never said anything else. But that dream has a way of hiding itself somewhere in our hearts. And we think, well, I've achieved everything else. Yes, you've achieved everything that you want to do. You've traveled, but have you actually lived? Have you lived the life that you truly want to live? Or have you spent your time getting to the top of your chosen field? Have you, you know, getting the education that you want, having the friend circle that you think you need in order to get to the top that you want to get to? What is it in your life that you have left to one side so that you could pursue this? And now you think to yourself, well, I've got it all. The only thing I'm waiting for is a man. So when I find him, then everything is going to complete. But who said? What is it? What is your history? How can you track you? How does he track you to make sure that you're the right person for him? What is it that the two of you can do together? Because you like ballroom dancing. You didn't put it down. I've got everything, but you've always wanted to do it. So why didn't you do it at the time? you were too busy working, so it's not important. It's just important to find this man. So how will you spend your off time? When the two of you are not working, what will you do? Where will you go? Who will you see? Who are the people that you're going to take with you? So whatever it is that you're running from, there's something here that you're not ready to face, because you're thinking to yourself, I've got it all in your mind, or you've got it all to whatever mummy said, this is what you need to achieve in order to find the right person. So you've ticked off somebody else's list whilst yours has stayed buried. It's not going to work, because you'll find him, but in 5 years, will you still be married?
Yeah. And what kind of man, let's say you don't do the goals, and I'm like, cool. Actually, we end up having to actually stop the coaching completely because we came to an impasse. Because unfortunately, I don't, that's not how I roll. Okay,
You can't find someone.
Yeah, my time, I'm the coach, it was told, so if we can't move any further, and we were not able to move forward further in the coaching process because we were at an impasse. Now, let's say I said, okay, cool, we're not going to touch the goals, let's just move on to the next phase. What kind of man do you think this woman would attract, in your opinion, like she's not building anything, she's not going anywhere, she's not.
No,
what is she going to attract? Who's she going to attract?
She's going to attract somebody with feminine energy, because what she'll find is she'll meet somebody who has wonderful conversation, and she thinks that's exactly what it is I need. And they sit and they talk, and they may, he may like something that she likes, and the two of them, sit and get on with it. And she'll find somebody who is so into high fashion, and, he wants to be seen in all the right places, and, go to the right do's and with the right people. And he will also look good on her arm. But it's all superficial. There isn't anything deep there. She's not going to attract a deep thinker. Because she doesn't even know herself what it is that she wants. And if you don't know what you want and where you're going, you will accept anything that comes along that looks right, and it looks as though it's ticking your tick sheet. And if it does that, then he'll do. She's not going to attract somebody that's of substance. And if she does attract somebody who has the depth, who has the capability to not only match what she's got, but go, much higher than she has, it won't last, because she's not going to be able to fulfill his needs, because she doesn't know what she wants. She's just going to tag along for the fun of it. It's not going to go very far if she's not going to attract.
Absolutely.
She's certainly not going to attract a masculine person, because she's masculine in
herself.
I love that.
I love that you went straight to it, because that's exactly where I was hoping you would go. Because I don't think women understand that whole, I have built my structures, I have built my empire, and now I need somebody to fill it, is actually a masculine position. The man, the masculine, builds.
Yes.
He builds structure. He gets to a certain place in his life where he can provide, where he can protect, where he can stabilize, where he can cherish, where he can contain. And at that point, the masculine says, I am now ready to bring a wife into the life that I've built, so that she can enhance it, supercharge it, flourish it, make it beautiful. That position, when you're a woman and your position is, I've done it all, just bring me a man, is a masculine position. You're saying, I've already held structure, I've got this. And this particular lady had a history of men abusing her and doing all kind of things, because the only person who's going to come into an already built structure is the feminine. Yeah. Femininity is attracted to already built structures. Femininity is attracted to structure itself. It's attracted to a place that it can come and rest. Femininity is not attracted to a place it can come and work. And so she was already creating this system and this protocol of dating feminine men. And it might seem like, yeah, but if you wanted to have goals and do these things, isn't that masculine energy? In many ways, it may seem like that because it's a goal-oriented process, but it really is for the feminine about the personal development of the person. It's about growth more than goals. Because in that module 2, we talk about the kind of person you have to be to achieve and attain your goals. Yeah. The being part, who you're going to have to be, is actually the growth element. And like I always say, what is not growing is dying.
Yes.
So not only are you going to attract feminine energy, you're going to attract your coroner.
Yes.
I mean, look, you've come to the end of your road, you've come to the end of your purpose, then that means your existence on the planet is no longer valid. You're now somebody that takes resources instead of contributes to resources. You're no longer useful. Your presence on the planet is a liability to the planet. So, and you're not growing. So what are you doing? You're busy dying. So what are you going to attract? A coroner. You're going to attract somebody who's going to bury you, put you in a coffin and bury you. And this is how so many of us attract toxic people that kill our dreams, because we never articulated those dreams. Yes. We attract toxic people who won't support our mission because we never established what the mission was. Mm-hmm. We meet people who are at odds with our nature, and we become conscious that, oh, I have a dream. Unfortunately, only when somebody comes to bury it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is how we live when we're living unconsciously. So like Yvonne was saying, look, if you're going nowhere, at least if I want to be a doctor, I know that my activity in that area, my being in that area is going to attract somebody who's on a similar path. Yes. They might not be a doctor, but they might be in the medical program doing something else, healthcare or whatever. But if I just sit here and say, well, look, I've come to the end of my thing. And also with this particular young lady, she was very jaded from church. I think she had kind of done the whole, if you do what God says, you're going to get a man. And she'd done that for many years. And she was very angry. So she almost came to this scenario with, you're not going to play me. You know, you are going to deliver a husband or else. Right. I'm not going to play your games. I'm not going to go lateral. I'm not going to go deep. I've already been played. I've already been told, focus on the Lord, grow your relationship with God. Do you think that there's any validity in that feeling? Because I can empathize a little bit with the feeling that you've done all the things that you were told to do, that, seek ye first the kingdom of God. I've done that. I've shown up, I've given, I've done all these things, and I'm still here. Now I'm coming to the Black Swan Relationship Academy, and you're behind and telling me, well, let's do life goals. Do you think there's any kind of validity or empathy that we can have, perhaps, or perhaps not? What do you think?
Here's the thing. We can have empathy with somebody when I see where you're coming from and I've seen what life has done you. Because let's face it, I think at the beginning, for somebody to sit in front of us, life has done them. And they actually have been going right. And now they want to either go straight or veer to the left. And that's the reason why they're sitting there, because whatever it was that they were doing, it's not working. So I empathize with that, and I feel the pain of the clients that we have when life has really done them. But we've also, when you look at the flip side of that, when life has done you and you've been in church and you've been there for years and waiting for this person to come, this is the reason why we say about doing goals. And about doing the, one of the questions I love in that module is when you said, if nobody would say, what would you? And then when you ask somebody that question, if the world is your oyster and you can have anything that you want, what would you want? When you think of the world and think of the things that they're in, is it? You cannot say I've done everything, because you actually haven't. You cannot say the only thing I want that is going to fulfill me is a man. Something is wrong. Let us sit down and deal with that something is wrong. And in doing so, you need to tell me what you want. Now, when you've done your goals, and you're not just doing the goals for your career. If there's something else, there's another tier that you want to climb to, but you're also doing the fun stuff. You're doing the things that maybe you want to play tennis, as I said, ballroom dancing, or go snorkeling, learn to scuba dive, whatever the things is that you want to do. The word tells us that the devil find work for idle hands. So your job cannot just be going to the hospital, coming back from doing a 20-hour shift, sleep from Monday to Saturday, wake up Sunday morning, go to church, wash, rinse, and repeat. That can't be it. Who are you going to find? And if the person that you're looking for is not in your environment, then you're not going to find him on your way to and from church if all you are doing is in your car. It is when you're pursuing these other things and doing something else, that's when you meet people. That's when you are engaging in other people. No one is saying that, you know what, this is going to be easy. This is going to be something that you can do with one hand tied up behind your back, and you spin around 3 times and bam, you've done, module 7, and we're saying goodbye to you, and gung ho, you go out there and you find your Johnny. No, the system is there for a reason. It's like learning to drive. You sit behind the wheel. The first thing that you have to do, you've got to know what the pedals do. Even if you're driving an automatic, you need to know which button does what. And when you put the car into drive, where should your feet be? Nobody's going to put you in the car and say, okay, go. It would be unfair. They're going to kill you. Yeah. So why wouldn't you want to, look, I've seen what's going on. I feel I am at this point. I just want to go in this direction now. I think the young lady, when she came to you, what she needed to do was change her language first. And when she changed her language and understood what it was that she was making a request for, because what she's looking for is somebody like herself. And there isn't a male, there are many male versions of her, but those male versions are looking for women. They're not looking for, a male dressed as a woman. And that's exactly, what's going down. I don't know who this person is. And I hope she stayed. Oh, no, you said she didn't stay the course and you had to part ways. I'm praying that she will somehow realize the error of her ways and come back and say, you know what, let me start from where I left off and go again. Because if life hasn't gone the way in which she hoped it would, she will come back and say, I've made an error. Because she needs, there are some things in life you can't circumvent. You can't miss, you start at 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't start 1, miss 3 and 4 and jump straight to 5 and think, yes, I've passed, I've done it. There are some things that you have got to go through the course in order for you to come out. Because when you come out on the other side of it, you're going to be healed. You're going to be whole. You're going to know what it is you want. You're going to be able to articulate what it is you want. You're going to have your own mind to know what you want, who you want to be, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there, and who, most importantly, you're going to go there with. And you can't do that if you go from 1 to 4. It's not going to work.
100%. And Module 2 is very triggering for a lot of people. Module 2, and I know, people come and they want a man, and the whole system, over delivers. But I find that stuckness in Module 2, because I get that too. There's a part of me that empathizes with this, because let's just take the Module 2 out of it. I think a lot of us are afraid to look at our lives. Module 2 says, look, these are the 12 areas of your life. And when people look at them, they realize okay, my life is crap.
Yes.
Like, honestly, I have no real friends. I don't belong to any community.
Yeah.
I don't have good relationship with my neighbors.
Yes.
I don't contribute anything to my society. I don't belong. And that is scary. It's really, really scary. And I feel like part of the resistance is because the truth is module 2, some people love it, and really sometimes we can spend ages on module 2 because it's the first time they've had an opportunity to look at, oh my God, there's other areas of my life that I completely forgot about while I was blinkered working on just my career, and then thinking, right, it's time for a husband now that I've accomplished certain things. And of course, not to mention that when you're not working on your own life, you're not sexy. You know, I think I did a reel on Instagram talking about how to keep your man attracted to you forever. There's nothing like a woman who is going somewhere with her life that's sexy, because you can't quite have her. You can't own her. Even if she's present, living with you, loving you, nurturing you, taking care of you, being the feminine that she is. The idea that every day she has to evolve into a different being to achieve her goals means you're always meeting a 1.2.0, 3.0, 4.0 version of her. And that is exciting to a man because you're a new woman every time. And so there's that element why this is such an important course, but then there's that fear other side, which fear of, I don't even know where to begin to start building my life. I mean, these 12 areas make up Chengi's life, Yvonne's life. Your life is not made up of a man, a job. That's almost like 3 pieces of the pie. How about the rest? And the dissatisfaction from not meeting those needs, because we always say that you will get 51% of what you want in a mate if you're lucky. Most people get less. Where are the other 49 coming from?
Yes.
What's the 49% of what you want in a mate? Where's that going to come from? Are you just going to sit there and die, or demand more from your mate who just simply cannot give it to you because they're coming in with all of their stories? That 49% has to come from somewhere. That those other pieces, validation, appreciation. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy said, you know, he's always wanted a wife who applauds him, celebrates him, tells him how smart he is. But the wife he got does not even, she barely acknowledges. He's like a big superstar, travels the world, does all these things, and she barely cares. She's more interested in who he is as a man. And, you know, and he said, you know, his marriage was going to get problematic. He was like, you know, he had a moment where he was like, I beg your pardon, when he was like, you know, what the hell? And it kind of created friction because he's coming from these big stages and these big places, and he's coming to this woman who's just like, hey, babe, you know, and, you know, it almost created sort of a situation. And then he said, you know, he had to grow up and realize that, you know, he didn't say it in these words, but this is what I heard, that 51% of what he needed in a mate, she had it. That 49% was already being met anyway.
Yeah.
The praise he wanted from her, the cheerleading he wanted from her was, he said, you know, he'd get off stage and 4 or 5 people would be like, you changed my life. Thank you so much. You're a superstar. I'm so like, all the validation, all the acclamation, and all the wonderful stuff happened every single time he went to work. And he realized that that's where the 49% is met. You know, that is, you know, I say to women all the time, I love the idea of submission. I am almost like, yes, please, and thank you. And the reason why that really, really appeals to me is because I have a lot of power. I have a lot of personal power. And then I have created a life that puts me in a powerful position. I make decisions all day. I run a business. I'm always the one making decisions. I'm always everything rests on my shoulders. The beginning of the day and the end of the day, the success and the failures, they all rest on my shoulders. I have created a life that supplies me with power, powerful positions, powerful reasons, powerful, you know, I'm in coaching sessions and I'm the masculine, I'm the powerful one, I'm the one helping with decisions, I'm the one giving final orders. I've created that life because I know that it doesn't need to be met by my husband now. He doesn't need to be my yes, ma'am. I don't need him to submit to me. I need somebody to be like, take the wheel, baby. Just take the wheel, right? Because when your life meets your other needs, your need for significance, when what I do for a living gives me meets that need for significance, when what I do with my friends gives me that validation, what I do in my community rewards me with meaning, when my life and my needs are being met in different places, then 51% in a mate is a winner. It's a lot, right? Because these other people are applauding you. I remember once saying to somebody who was like, yeah, but submission, and they were kind of going on about it. I was like, the only people that fear submission are people with no power. If you have no power, then it feels like even the little you have is being taken from you.
Yeah.
When you actually have power, you realize that, in fact, I don't even want to date a guy who doesn't make any decisions. I don't want to decide where we're going. The only thing I want to decide is what I'm wearing and where to be. I don't want to make any decisions about how the household and the decisions, and I don't you go make those decisions. You can ask my opinion, happy to share it, but you go make the decision and let everything fall on I'm gonna look at you and say, well, darling, whatever shall we do? Right? It's fantastic. I get off scot-free. I would love a place and a space in my life where I get off scot-free. But I can only really afford myself the privilege of submission, because I see it as a privilege, right? As the privilege of laying back, letting somebody else take the wheel, let him take the strain, let him make the tough decisions in life concerning life, and let him get them wrong. And oh, never mind, because I have a whole other world that requires me to be the dominant person, to be the leader. And so that's what I always say to the women is, look, create the life that meets your soul's needs. We're not talking about a life of go get some money, go get you some girl. We're talking about a life that fills your soul. And I'm going to ask you a question, Yvonne, about what do you think this woman who's like, I just want a man, what is this man representing to her, do you think? When I get this man, I'm going to.
I think from the way in which I've done, and it sounds almost like the checklist is done. This is the last grid on the checklist that needs to be ticked off. So once that is done and I've got that, then I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be secured. I'm going to be, and whatever it is that we have told ourselves that is going to happen to us when we find this wonderful person, then he is going to make me complete. He is the one that is going to make me happy. He is the one that is going to make me drive. It could also be a case of where she, like yourself, is saying, you know what, I want somebody to take the reins. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to stay home, look after the babies, you go and do whatever it is you're doing. And then when you come home, I'll look pretty for you. I don't want to do anything else because I've done everything and this is the only thing that's missing. But from the way in which he spoke of the young lady, I don't believe that that was her thing. I do think that it's to fulfill the last thing, you know, the checklist that she's done, mentally done for herself. So she's got that. But there was something that you said earlier on when you were speaking and you were talking about module 2 again, and it made you actually really sit down and look at yourself and ask yourself the hard questions. And the other thing that I wanted to add to what you were saying is, I think the reason why people don't want to do module 2 because it makes you look at you. And 99.9% of us don't like what we see in us. And if we don't like ourselves, who on earth is going to like us? And so you can come and say, I've got everything. I've got everything that I want. The only thing I want is a man. So what you want me to do is to look at me, and I'm not ready to do that. So let me miss this, go to the next one and get on with finding my person who will fix all of that. Because guess what? he will love me and I will be whole. I will be somebody. I will be the great whatever it is that he wants me to be. And it's
amen.
not going to work.
And amen. You hit the nail on the head again. We should have one of those things that goes, you know, that makes those sounds. Welcome, everybody. You're all gathering in here. I've got a swan from Zimbabwe. Hello, baby girl. She's from my country. Oh, so good to see you. Nice. Hello, Roxanne. Hello, everybody. Hi, kids. It was nice to see you. Oh my God. Ohio. I'm going to be in Ohio soon. I'm actually going to a wedding. One of our clients is getting married, so I'm going to be there. So you never know. We might bump into each other. Welcome, everybody. I love that you said that. Here's the thing that I'm going to hop on. The piece about I don't like myself. Here's the thing. I mean, thank you. The thing is, we are all looking for somebody to give us an experience of ourselves. I don't like myself.
Yeah.
But when you tell me I'm beautiful, in that moment, I'm going to hop on your compliment and give myself some value. When you tell me I'm smart, then I am going to jump on that compliment and think, oh, I must be smart, and live from your delusional perspective of me, because I don't think I'm smart. So where do you get that idea from? Right? Many of us using, which is really how you answer this question, we're using relationship as escapism.
Yes. Yeah.
What she's really saying is what you said. I don't want to look at myself because I don't like myself. I don't like myself. And if we're all going to put, it actually reminds me of when I was still a duck, if I was born into the SWAN family. I remember buying a course many years ago, you know, and I remember it was 21 pounds. So it was a while ago. And all the marketing on that situation was, if you do this, you're going to get that. And I was desperate. Because at the time, I truly wholeheartedly believed that the only thing missing from my desperate, pathetic little life at the time, looking back, was a man. All I had to do was get a man. I was just like my client. It's all I have to do. And so I was on the hunt, and I was out there with my broken life, everything broken. I didn't want to look at myself. And I remember the course was similar to, it brought up the same stuff, because I had to actually, I think the second practice was to tell yourself that you're lovely. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. I don't need to tell myself I'm lovely. I just need you to tell me what I need to say to that guy who's ghosting me so that he can come back and marry me. Right. And it took really an insurmountable amount of pain and disappointment to get to the point where I was like, enough. What am I really running away from? And it's so sad to me, because I was running away from the dejected, rejected version of me that nobody wanted to keep. When you've had this experience in the dating world where you've been dumped and ghosted and lied to and all manner of crazy things that happen in the dating world, you are still allowing that person to give you an experience of yourself. Mm-hmm. You're still allowing that person, you're still saying, hey, sir, because you ghosted me, I can't matter. I can't be. You do that enough times and have enough of those encounters, and you really start to feel like crap. So now you're afraid to see the thing that these men are running from. You're like, I don't know if I'm ready to see whatever it is. Maybe I'm crap in the bedroom. Maybe I'm a terrible conversationalist. Maybe I'm just a horrible person and nobody told me. Maybe you start to go into these kind of, what is wrong with me? Deep down, there's that unconscious belief, there's something wrong with me, and I'm afraid to lift the bonnet and have a look, because I'm afraid that if I see it, I am going to be unworthy. Yes. I'm going to truly have to go and sit down in the back of the line and just write myself off. So all I need is for you, Mama Swan, you, oh great Oracle Yvonne, to bring me a man that will give me an experience of myself that's different from the experience of myself I've had in the past. And what's really painful to me, and I'm sure to you and the coaches, is that when you give yourself a chance to peel back the layers, you will find treasure beyond measure.
It's a beautiful experience.
You will be surprised how beautiful you are. You will be surprised. And this is what happens to those clients of ours that are brave enough to step through it, look with unbridled eyes, say, okay, this is what I've always wanted. You know, my current client at the moment, she, through this process, has actually developed her enterprise, her business. It's amazing. She's coming from a terrible divorce. She came like everybody else with the same mission. And through module 2, she's not only got the name of her business, she knows exactly what it will do. She came with a drawing. She was like, Chengi, look, this is the name. I need to show you. She was so excited. She was like, I need to show you something. I was sleeping and I was lying there because I know I'm a mogul. I know I'm a mogul. I know it. And until I did this, I didn't believe it. And I've got to share this with you because it came to me. I saw myself. I mean, the way she described this vision, I had to sit back and be in awe, right? I had to sit back and be like, wow. And she had the drawing of the logo and the name. And I said it back to her. She was like, oh my goodness, feels weird hearing it from somebody else. And life came into her because until she was brave enough to pursue her fulfilling life, forget man, because it's such a shallow goal. Honestly, getting a man, to be honest with you, we don't even need you to do the soulmate. We can get you a man, but that will be the most unfulfilling, unhealthy relationship you will ever have, even if he is a top-notch guy. Because there's something that, I mean, this woman now, what she is being is alive. What she is being is radiant. Even if her business never happens, even if her business takes 5 years to establish, and I know this chick, she's going to make this thing happen. Even if her dreams take 20 years, I was talking to a dead person when I first met her, dead in the face, dead in the eyes, dead. And now I'm sitting in front of somebody who is being radiant, being alive, being awake and conscious and hopeful. And I dare her not to find a man. I dare her. And she was saying to me, I don't know what's going on, but I'm at work and everybody's staring at me. I'm walking up the road and everybody's staring at me. I am having all of this attention and I'm actually getting confused about what this attention means. And I was like, you're awakening to yourself. You are now giving yourself an experience of yourself that isn't dependent on anyone. To live a life where you're not, please tell me I'm pretty. Please tell me I'm beautiful. Please tell me I mean something. Please tell me I matter. Please tell me I'm significant. Because some of us don't actually believe we're significant. So all we want is to be significant to one person.
Yes.
We don't believe that we actually have worth or value. So we're looking for that one person who is going to say, you are worthy, you're valuable. I'm going to put a ring on your finger. I'm going to walk you up the aisle. And in that moment, you're going to mean something. But what a shame. What a crying shame. And I'm going to tell you something else. Anybody that gives you that value can take it away. Yes. They can take it away. And as long as they can take it away, they can control you with a fear of it being taken away.
Yeah.
And so many of us are in toxic relationships because we have said, you give me an experience of me. And every day I will beg at the altar, at the throne. So what that looks like is we've been dating since Piggy's a swine.
Yeah.
We've been dating since for 100 years. And I come to your altar and I say, please make me significant. Please make me a wife. Please make me your girlfriend. I beg of you, oh great one, to give me the significance that I could have had if I had pursued my work in God, the significance that I could have had if I had served my community. So now I have to beg at your feet that you would give me a title. And then these women come to the academy and they're hooked on this guy that is treating them like worse than, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, but just terribly. And they can't let go. It's not that you can't let go of him. You know he's treating you badly. He has given you value. He's given you an experience of yourself. With him and only with him do you feel seen. With him and only with him do you feel significant. With him and only with him do you feel like you count. What a shame. What a shame to live like that. And to prize, I said to one of the clients, I think she'll be with us next week. And I remember saying to her, you know, she was in a bad situation and she can share that herself. And she, you know, I said to her, I will never tell you ever to leave this man. You will not hear it from me. You will not hear it from my coaches. We don't tell you to leave anybody. But I said to her, I guarantee you, if you would trust this journey and take this journey with me and commit to this journey and focus through this journey, I'm going to make you a promise. You are going to let him go all by yourself. When we got to module 3 or module 4, she wrote a letter, didn't speak to me about it, said goodbye to this relationship that was so significant in her life. Not once did I say to her, walk away.
Yeah.
Because I knew what we're discussing tonight, that if I can give her if she can create herself, within herself, an experience of herself, where she matters, where she counts, where she's valuable, where her future is bright, where she can see great things. If I can allow her and create an environment and coach her into a space where she can create that experience for herself, things will fall off. I always say to clients, a lot of the things, I want to be feminine, I think Nanta said that last week in our live. She did the modules, she did the course, she did the system. And she said, I just found myself feminine. She doesn't know when it happened, but she just found certain things naturally fall off. And that's that significance of that module too, is you can now extract value for yourself from yourself. You can generate that value. And when you step out into the streets and you are that woman, you were flicking through magazines and doing, whoa, the woman that you were seeing on television, when you become her, when you are the sought out one, when you are the one that people, oh my goodness, are you going to attract a Dusty? There's no way. This is why our clients only meet high quality men. Like, I don't have a client that has graduated through this process. You ladies don't have a client that's with some loser guy. I don't know about you, but what do you have to say about any of this? What would you like to say, Yvonne? Because I can go on forever.
It's good listening, because you're feeding our clients' souls. And for those who are still sitting on the fence and wondering why they should do SMAS for that reason and that reason alone, is more than enough for anyone to say, you know what, I've been dithering about this and I've been toing and froing and umming and ahhing, I'm going to, no, I'm not, I'm going to, now I'm not. And now you're hearing some of the things that by doing the different modules that truly happens. And it's not because we're saying it because, you know, yeah, let's tell them a story. No, these are people who will tell their own stories when, you know, their own time is right. That I did this. One of my clients, when she did module 2 and she put the things that it was that she you know, she wanted to do. And when I asked her, oh, you want to do this? She said, you know what, it was something that I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do. And now when she saw it written down, it spurred her on to actually now go out and do it. And now she's out there doing things that she didn't think that she could possibly do. And now when you see her, she's standing tall. She's, you know, when she's not looking at you and almost apologizing for being in your presence, you know, her head is up and she walks with a stride. She doesn't drag herself around anymore. And when you look at her, you think, my God, you're such a beautiful woman. And she said to me the other day, people are looking at me and asking me what's different, what's changed. And I said, your energy has shifted. You are becoming you, and you will like what you see. Just keep going. And, you know, if nothing else
100%.
today, this is just so, do you know what I think as women we've forgotten? Because we've spent so much time pursuing the career, pursuing you know, the home and all the things that we've pursued. And because, you know, life has done us, depending on which country you're in and whatever the economy is of that country or whatever the culture is of that country. As women, we feel that we must be strong because we're Black women and we should go out there and fight. Why? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. I am a firm believer in you don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Yeah.
You know, gently does it. And when you're out there in corporate, whether it's corporate America, whether it's corporate Britain, whether it's corporate Africa, wherever it is, and you're in the corporate world or in another world that it is, you know, a masculine dominated world, we think that we have to wear that position all the time. And we forget we are feminine, and it's not a dirty word anymore. You know, before the Jermaine Greers of this world, we are women and we can have what men have. And look what that has done to us. Look where that has got us. How far, when you think about it, have we come? You can be anything. Yeah, but really, what has it got you? Other than the fact that I'm a pilot, I'm a roadster or whatever it is, I'm a racing car driver. Like, yeah, but at the end of the day, when you go home, you still want a husband and child. So where really has it got you? You know, we haven't, from when you think of the 60s women power to where we are now, it isn't a long journey, but our lives as women has taken us on a road that I don't think any of us thought that we were going to be on. And as we've become more masculine in our pursuit of having it all, at the end of the day, when we come home, we forget, let me take the crown off, put it to one side and, hello, darling, how are you? And be the feminine that we're supposed to be. We wear it all the time. Homes are now mostly single mothers are in the home. They're being mother and father to their boys. They're trying to raise their young boys. They're trying to raise their young girls. And they were holding down 5 jobs and be feminine and, you know, raise a boy and do. We've got it tough. Chengi, our work as Black Swans and SMAS is cut out for us because there are so many women there listening to this and thinking, yeah, that's what they think. No, check yourself. And when you really stop and look at your life, ask yourself, am I who I want to be? With all this or without all this, am I that person? And if your answer is no, check us out. We may have the answer. I don't think it's a may. We have the answer for you. We can help you. So, you know, let's not sit on the fence anymore and do, yeah, but. No, there is no but.
Absolutely. And I love when you said that. I live for the transformation. And one of the things that is really good to make clear before we close is that when I started my career, I was all about getting people into relationships. You could work with me for 3 weeks and you'd be dating high quality men. It's easy to do. But I found very early on that a person's demons would come out.
Yes.
And they would seek to sabotage, or they would do something. And so I realized that what we want is not just love. We want it to last. We want it to be valuable. We want it to be precious. We want it to be quality. There's no way around. I tried. I'm so curious. Anyone will tell you, Chengi will try 1,000,001 things. I tried so many things and came to the understanding that unless you actually transform,
yes,
there is no way outside of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way to create a healthy relationship unless you go through a deliberate, intentional, systematic transformation.
Yes.
Because I like a post I put on Instagram today. The day we realize that the love life we're creating is as a result of who we are being.
Yes.
When that penny drops, when that penny drops in you, you will be in Black Swan trying to get on this course, trying to fill in the form and see if you qualify. You know, there's a process to it, of course. But who you are being is creating what you're having. Who are you being? You're running away from yourself. So who are you being?
Yes.
A copy of who? Who are you a copy of?
Yes.
If you're running from you, if you're running from the experience of self, and I say, take 3 months, 4 months out of your life and transform so that you can have a love life. I'm going to be in Ohio, wedding, Texas, wedding. I cannot tell you the number of people. And wedding, for me, that's low level, low tier. And I don't say that, I say that with such gratitude that they found enough love and journey together to find love. And I'm going to be there to celebrate wherever I'm invited and my time allows. But it's more than that. For me, the greatest celebration is when I was broken, running from myself, running from the experience of myself, running from all of these things, to being this woman who's in possession of self. And really being this woman who is like, look, I've spent my whole life being whatever else I thought I needed to be. I'm enjoying being in my own skin. That doesn't mean that you won't desire a partner. And now you give yourself the honor, the privilege, and the opportunity to be selective. Now, and the weird, funny thing about the soulmate anyway is that your husband and your partner shows up pretty quickly.
Yes.
You know, like pretty quickly. If you commit to it, you do as you're told, you don't fall fool, and you don't do all the foolishness, and you just commit, he will show up. And your relationships in general are going to be fixed. Your friendships, your family relationships, your mother relationship, your father relationships. I mean, the fullness of the life that you will receive. But if you want to love that loss and a love that is quality, you must transform.
Yes.
Because you can only create from who you are. And if who you are is still the broken, hurting version of you, then you can only attract that, and you can only choose that, and you can only gravitate to that, and you can only encounter that, you can only entertain that. And so for me, like Yvonne was saying, that module 2, if you're brave, and it is a brave experience, the module is a course like you've never done before, because it literally takes over your life. For 3 months, it takes over your life completely. If you're going to do it properly, it's going to take over your life. It's going to change everything about your life. And when you get to the other side, you will recognize that the person you were running from was actually quite beautiful. She's actually quite smart, and she's actually quite lovable, and she's actually rather adorable, and she's very feminine, and she's very comfortable in her own skin. She's very sexy. You know, you just had to push past the rubble. You know, you had to have somebody with a torch to kind of show you the way, a guide who's kind of held your hand. You can do a self-study. Nanta did a self-study, but we always recommend that you do it with a coach because of the experience and the deeper experience that can be provided, so that you kind of cement your experience. But like most people who've done the soulmate, they come back to it, and you will have lifetime access and support from coaches. You'll be part of the private group. It's the whole thing. It's a whole thing. And it was a secret that we're keeping from you. But alas, the only time you would hear about the soulmate is if you actually booked a discovery call. Otherwise, it's not something that we've been talking about in public, which is why I decided that this needs to actually be a public conversation, because we're robbing so many women of the opportunity. And it is a journey of a lifetime, and it is an investment of a lifetime. It's not, I'll go on, then I'll try that. It's you're going to have to set aside time. You're going to have to set aside, if you're dating, you'll have to stop that for a while. If you are, wherever you are in life, you have to find those pockets of time. And I call it the best self-care ever in the whole wide world. Any final thoughts, Yvonne?
My final thought is, I was just running through my head as you were speaking, is that we have been last week and this week, and I think for a few weeks to go, we're going to be speaking about all aspects of the soulmate. And I really want to speak to the ladies out there who are thinking about doing this, and they will hear the things that we've said. Here's the thing, if you're thinking about doing it, as my mom used to say to us when we were younger, and we would say, oh, but mommy, I was just thinking, and my mother would say, stop thinking and do. And what I'm saying to each and every one of you who may be thinking of doing this, and you're asking yourself, well, why should I pay that amount of money to do this? And here's the reason why you should pay that money to do this, is because whoever you are so worth that and so much more. Ask yourself for your life to be transformed from 1 to 101 in 3 months. What do you think that would be worth to you? What is that transformation worth? Are you trying to say that you are not worth taking 3 months? And when we say 3 months, you're not shutting down everything for 3 months and being here. You're still doing all the things that you're doing. You're going to work, you're, taking care of children. You're doing all the things that you normally do. You're going out with friends, you're doing, but you give us an hour and a half a week for 12 weeks. And during that hour and a half that you're giving us, and it is a privilege for us to sit with you and do this with you. And when we do that and you're there, I'm telling you, you're gonna cry. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be upset. You may not want to talk to anyone for days. You will seriously cry like a baby, and you will ask yourself, how could I have done that? Why did I do that? How have they put up with me? Because you know what? You then see you. But the beauty of seeing you is, and you see you with all warts and all. Once you've done that and you've seen it, here's the beauty of it. That then cannot be hidden anymore. And there's one of my favorite sayings, and it will always be, and yes, it's biblical, and it is when Joseph said to his brothers, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. And I say that to you, what the enemy wants to do in your life, that he wants to keep you broke, busted, and disgusted, and not having the husband that you want, not going the places that you want to go to, and doing the things that you are called to do. If that's how you want to do it, then stay there until you're ready. But here's the opportunity for you to be ready today. Here's the opportunity for you to say, you know what, enough is enough is enough. Let me do me. My life matters. I am somebody. And until you're able to say those things about you, you will stay there, and you will stay there for a long time. But God has something for you. You have something for you too. And you will only know what it is when you sit with one of us and enable us to open the book for you.
Fantastic. What can I say? I've got nothing else to add. I'm just going to read what Impelinda Nyati says. God, forgive me if I've messed up your name. Because I've got one of those names that people mess up all the time. Very interested at this session, as this session has been quite eye-opening. You beautiful ladies said words that I've been yearning for. So how do we do this? Well, how you do this is to go to blackswanrelationshipacademy.com and go to discover, book a discovery call with any of the coaches. They'll all come up. And that is your first step, because then we know we will be able to diagnose and know exactly what needs to be done and give you the next steps for you. And yes, you can't access the support with coaches in the front end. You actually have to have that discovery call so that we can give you all the private links for those people who are interested. But if you do want to do it self-study, you can go to blackswanrelationshipacademy.com, go to Academy, the tab Academy, look through our courses, and you will see the self-study that has videos, workbooks, and all of the good stuff. So you can do it that way as well. Or you can download the Black Swan Relationship app, and you'll be able to access, again, all of those things. You'll be able to access the Academy through the app. And furthermore, have a conversation with the coaches. If you want to actually book a call on the app, you get smaller times, you get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where you can just touch base, see how you feel about it. It can be a video call through the app. So the app was really a way that you could connect to the coach quite quickly. And a place where, and again, on the app now, we do have exclusive content. So we've got content that is not on YouTube, not on Facebook, not on anything else. That content is specifically for the app. So if you want to learn more and dive deep, you can access exclusive content on the app. So definitely make sure you have the app on you, because it's the best way to sort of navigate the Black Swan universe. But if you don't want to download the app, you can go to blackswanrelationshipacademy.com, and we can begin to, what is Nadine saying? Offering 30-minute complimentary discovery calls with the SMAS self-study thing. Nadine always remembers these things. So if you buy the self-study, you will get a complimentary 30-minute call with any of the coaches for a discovery call. So if you think, you know what, let me just do the self-study, we will send you a link inviting you to have a complimentary call with one of the coaches in case you need extra support. So that's really cool, as we are right now promoting and really.
And isn't they can actually do the self-study and have 3 sessions, not have 3 sessions, but book 3 sessions to speak of anything that is.
No, we don't have that. But if they book do the self-study and get the 30-minute call, then your coach will be able to give you options, because we've got various options that your coach can discuss with you. And Pelinda says, oh wow, not walking, running, thank you so much. We can't wait to meet you. So exciting. I love it when we're enthusiastic, and what I would love to see is a world where we don't have to do this when we've wasted so much time, because I think a lot of women one of my clients really broke my heart. She said, I wish I'd done this when I was younger. I wish I had, and it's a shame. I don't know who I was talking to the other day. And how do we book the call online? Go to blackswanrelationshipacademy.com and hit the Discover tab, hit book a discovery call, and the system you'll have to, we filter the people that we eventually speak to. But I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are definitely part of the tribe, so you'll be perfectly fine. So you do have to fill in a bit of a form before you can get access to the coaches, but you shouldn't worry about that. Best thing to do, go and do that. If for any reason, you can always email admin Black Swan Relationship Academy, and we can see what went wrong. But that's pretty much how you do that. And I was talking to somebody, and I was and we were just having this conversation, and I don't know who it was, but we were like, the funny thing about being young is you think you'll be young forever.
Yeah.
Never occurs to you that you're going to be 40 one day. You kind of know, but it feels like a very, 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 very distant, far away future. And so you squander your options. You navigate the world with complete confusion. You play and you get played. You get rinsed out by the world. And then you get to a certain age and you think, oh my God, I'm no longer the young, fresh thing in the room anymore. You know, and that's very shocking to the system, because now, you know, my friends' daughters, the ones I used to play with, and aren't they cute? And now the hotties, they're not the baddies of the universe now. Those are the girls that are the baddies. I'm thinking, when did she become that old and making auntie look like she's a grandma, you know? And even my niece is like, auntie, and I'm like, it's easy on the auntie, because the little girls we played with one day, and for those of us who are under 30 and thinking one day maybe when I try my luck, the little babies you're playing with right now, they're gonna be your size, hotter, younger, and fresher. And all of the options you had are gonna be different, not less beautiful, just different. And you're gonna realize how you didn't make the right moves. And so what I love in the Black Swan Relationship Academy now is that the mothers who've done it are bringing their daughters in. You know, they're bringing their daughters who are in their 20s, are like, can you work with my daughter? Can you work with my daughter's friend? Can you, you know, and younger women. I had a client who is 27, the one who's getting married in Ohio. She was 29 when she came into the academy. But the 27-year-old, she's changed her life completely. She's now got all these men vying for her. But I know she's going to land a winner, because she's got everything working for her right now. I mean, men are literally vying for her. And when she came, she just was holding on to this relationship that was a little bit tatty. And even the guy who was being funny, he's now said, listen, whatever you want, I will move cities, I will move all the issues they had after she finished the soulmate. He's now ready to compromise on everything, because you can't play with energy. You can't play with this course. You can't play with transformation. You cannot play with who you become and how the world literally responds to you. And when you do the soulmate and you're older, you'll be surprised at the options you have. Honestly, you will be surprised, because age won't matter. Younger men, older men, all kind of men, you will just become such a prize that the factors in the dating market that usually disqualify other people just do not apply to you. Because when all is said and done, it's energy, energy. And you are spirit that has a soul and lives in a body. The body is simply an avatar. The physical being you're looking at right now is an avatar for the real me. And the real me is vibrating at a certain frequency right now that has allowed you, ladies, to be on this call, because my energy has vibrated and you heard the call. So if you are watching this, you were supposed to be. And even if you can't get started right away, we're still here for you. And I'm going to have to end this live, because we'll be here forever with the multiple stories. Next week, we'll have a few of the ladies who've been through it, some who are getting married, some who are living their best lives, to come and share their personal experience. So do join us next week, Tuesday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. BST. And that is it from me. Yvonne, would you like to say your goodbyes?
Thank you all very much for being with us. It's great to have you here, as it always is. And we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful rest of week and a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.